Shalom. Shalom, good evening. Buenas noches. Minister of Education and Culture of Uruguay, Ricardo Ehrlich. Ambassador of Israel in Uruguay, Dori Goren. Vice President of the Hebrew U, Ambassador and friend Carmi Grilon and Joseph Ben Arosh. Friends of Hebrew U in Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil and Chile. Jim Shasha and Susanna Lieberman, Doctors Honoris Causa from the Hebrew U. Presidents and authorities of Jewish institutions in Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil and Chile. Honorary Fellowship of the Hebrew U. Lily Siletsky, Marcy Betesh, and Leon Schimmel. Argentinian Friends Scopus Award 2010, Carlos Abolsky, alumni of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and dear friends of the Hebrew U. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight. I'd like to share with you some of the challenges I have as Mayor of Jerusalem, leading such a powerful city, and leave you maybe with a bit of a wider perspective of what it means to take the city to its success, and also highlight the critical role that the Hebrew University plays in Jerusalem. Personally, I'd like to start and tell you how proud I am to be a graduate, a proud graduate, a product of the Hebrew University. Ever since I remember myself, my parents moved to Jerusalem since my father decided to work at the Hebrew University. And as I was born, we moved to Jerusalem. And ever since I remember myself as a child, going to my father's work, computers, scientists, great atmosphere, appreciating the smartness of the Hebrew University. Also, my mother taught Hebrew in the Hebrew U. She taught physical education. So I learned different departments throughout my youth and as a child. 6 years I spent in the army. I was shot in Lebanon as a young soldier. Came back to study at the Hebrew U and became and I've studied for my BSc, Bachelor's in Computer Science. At the tail end of my Master's in Business Administration learning, a few friends and I, all learning in the Hebrew University, were struck by the first antivirus software by the first computer viruses in the world. And we decided to create antivirus software, some of the first in the world. And 4 partners in the Hebrew University, we've created our business, and I spent 15 years in high tech, creating software with partners, all graduates of the Hebrew U, 4 of us, employing throughout the years hundreds and thousands of graduates from the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Later, when, thank God, we've done for our home, we've started working in philanthropy. And that was together with the Hebrew University. We co-founded a non-for-profit called Snunit. It's resident in the Hebrew University, a partnership between business people, my wife and I, and the Hebrew University. And through that relationship, I got exposed through philanthropy and education to the challenges of the city of Jerusalem. And the more I got exposed to the challenges of the city of Jerusalem, the more I got sucked in to working with the municipality, with the schools, and I've learned, and I want to share with you some of the challenges that we have in front of us. I've learned that Jerusalem is suffering from a very strong negative migration of the medium and high social economic groups. Exactly the graduates of the Hebrew University, when they become successful, we import them to the world, to the center of the country. And Jerusalem was not doing a good job maintaining the best talent in the city. As a result of that and other reasons, Jerusalem has become the poorest city in the country of Israel. And when you see those negative trends, with my background, my skills, and my love to the city, I decided to retire from the business world and focus all my energy in the important mission of reviving the city of Jerusalem, exploiting its huge potential, getting the negative migration to stop, and make Jerusalem more attractive for young population. And that's what I've been doing since already 8 years. 8 years I'm a public servant. And here is some of the vision that I have for the city. Bear with you, in my mind, if you don't understand our history, the power of 3,500 years of history, you will not be able to understand and find the key to the future. 2/3 of the Bible were written on the hill of the city of Jerusalem. Everywhere you put a shovel in the ground, you find Jewish roots. Jerusalem is by no doubt the religious, spiritual, and cultural center for most people of faith in the world. 3.5 billion in number. And as a Jerusalemite, when I travel the world and tell people that I'm from Jerusalem, people's eyes open up. And apologetically, they say, "Oh, I have not yet been to the city of Jerusalem." Everyone would like to come and visit us at least once in their lifetime. Jerusalem is not only a city of its residents, 800,000 people strong, 65% Jewish, 2% Christian, and 33% Muslims. Jerusalem is the heart and soul of the Jewish people throughout the world, the capital of Israel. But again, an international city with huge interest throughout the world. Think of a conflict, we have it in Jerusalem, big time. And managing the conflicts is one of the biggest challenges that we have, not only locally, as mayor and as the country, but again, in global standards. So my vision to the city of Jerusalem is look at the future and return the role Jerusalem had 2,000 years ago as the center of the world. Open Jerusalem up for the benefit of people of all faith to enjoy. Use the assets that we have, historical, religious, cultural. Use that huge potential to dramatically increase tourism and open up the city and make the experience coming to our city richer, more fulfilling, and increase the number of tourists. As I said, we have to make Jerusalem bullish. We have to make it, this is where I want to open my new business. This is the place I have to go and visit. This is where I would like to live and raise my family. Exactly as my parents did when I was born. And in order to create this bullish, positive momentum, my business background led me to understand that it's a lot about economics. And we have to create economic momentum, economic growth around the city of Jerusalem to pull and to develop this kind of momentum. So I worked with Professor Michael Porter, a very well-known professor from Harvard Business School, to develop Jerusalem competitive strategies. The first, what we call area that we can develop business around in Jerusalem, is culture and tourism. In the last 2 years, we've dramatically invested in culture, leading to 2.5 times more culture activities in the city of Jerusalem, and an increasing number of tourism that rose from just a little bit over 2 million 3 years ago to 3.5 million tourists, 2010. And I put a aggressive goal of 10 million tourists a year in a decade from now. What does that mean? 10 million tourists a year means sending 10 million ambassadors of peace, of love of Jerusalem, back home to wherever they came from. It means 140,000 new jobs. It means that culture is flourishing, and the hotel industry, and Jerusalem in general, Jerusalem's economy, is driving very, very aggressively up the ladder. Turns out that in order to do that, we've looked and sought for a number of very important events. We've developed new brands. We've developed the Light Festival in the Old City of Jerusalem that drew, in the last 2 years in the summer, 4 or 5 days, 250,000 people from all over the country that went to the Old City to see Jerusalem at night. The Jerusalem Marathon, which will take place for the first time, full marathon, March 25th this year. And by the way, it goes through the Safra campus of the Hebrew University, inside and out, and goes around Mount Scopus site, around it. We already have a very significant number of registries from around the world that are coming to enjoy the city of Jerusalem. Another very strong engine and driver to the success of the city of Jerusalem is the area of health and life sciences. The Hebrew University is one of the top 10 in the world in generic research in life sciences. We have very good complementary hospitals, Hadassah, Shaare Tzedek. We have a number of pharmaceutical companies, Teva and Rafa, and about 100 startups in the space of health life sciences that complement the research and the services given in the hospitals. Together, we're aggressively pursuing to expand the business of culture and tourism on the one side and health and life science on the other. Together with a few other businesses, I believe we're scaling in a fast pace and attracting talent and attracting smart people to take advantage of opportunities that Jerusalem has to offer. We also have to create Jerusalem very attractive to young couples, to young adults, the ones that are learning in the Hebrew University, and just before they leave the university, to attract them to live in different places of our city. We have to attract the brightest in order to create critical mass of new oxygen to the city of Jerusalem. And so, while we are working together with the university to develop excellence, I am investing a lot of capital in improving the quality of education in Jerusalem. My background is computer science. I love education. We're computerizing all the teachers in the city, and in the future, starting from a pilot next year, all of the schools at the young age, and I've learned that you also have very good experience in computerizing schools and education. I'm a strong believer, and Jerusalem will be the most aggressive city to implement computerizing schools in Israel.